and protect parental rights. It's great to be here joining our state law enforcement as they go through a little symposium talking about our efforts to combat illicit vaping here in Florida, which is presenting new dangers to kids. So I want to talk a little bit about that this morning and then ultimately announce a broader push to expand our fight to protect parental rights in schools. I've got the Commissioner of Education, Manny Díaz, here with me. In just a little bit, we're going to sign a new memorandum of agreement further solidifying the joint coordination of our AG's new Office of Parental Rights with the Department of Education, where we will be working further together to investigate and identify things happening in school systems, actions by school officials that we believe violate the rights of parents and endanger our kids. But let's start with vaping first. It's great today to be here with law enforcement. I know everybody's going through training as we execute laws that have been on the books now recently over the last couple of years, efforts to protect our kids from illicit vape products. There are a lot of products, many of them coming in from China and other areas overseas, products that are not regulated by the federal government, products that are designed to appeal to kids, products that are filled with chemicals, many of which we do not know what they are. And young kids are attracted to this. Unlike cigarettes, these things can be more easily concealed, more easily taken into the school place, and used throughout the day. We are just now starting to see evidence of how these vape products that can be consumed ad nauseum all day by kids are impacting cognitive development and harming brains. So we need to wake up. We need to realize this is a new danger presented to kids. I'm glad our legislature has done a nice job addressing it over the last couple of years and continues to look for ways to protect our kids. These devices, they create them to be appealing. Here, this looks like a little highlighter, some sort of marker to use in school, but no, at the bottom, it's an area to plug in your vape. Again, this product, this isn't going to fly in Florida. Here you've got something, it's designed to look like a video game with a screen and buttons. You can play your little game and then you can take a puff here. This can't happen. Not in Florida, not in our state, not in our schools. Are there potential benefits to some vapes? Yes, I'm going to address that. I do think that it does provide an alternative to some people that have addictions to cigarette smoking, and there could be some health advantages. So today's message is not all vapes are bad everywhere. It's that we as a state, we need to do a good job to regulate, protect our kids, and understand what is coming into this country. We executed a couple months ago the largest vape settlement in Florida history with Juul, $79 million, half of which is being dedicated to legal enforcement of illicit vaping. And I thank them for coming to terms and realizing that we cannot be targeting kids with advertising. We cannot be going out with sensational colors and cartoons and to try to attract the attention of kids. We will continue to investigate and pursue efforts that might jeopardize the safety of kids. I mentioned a couple weeks ago we announced the Office of Parental Rights in the AG's office. It's a new outlet to provide a resource to parents that might believe their rights are being trampled upon. There might be unlawful activities. This is going to be a law firm for the people, for parents to go and execute their grievances and hold people accountable for endangering our kids. We are going to expand that portal. It's live on the AG's website to vaping. If you're aware of illicit vaping, if you're seeing it out in the marketplace, if you're seeing it get into the hands of kids, if you're aware of an active presence in a school, please let us know and let us initiate an inquiry to make sure that illegal activity is not taking place. So we will be expanding that to the portal. I will tell you that Office of Parental Rights, while we're only a couple weeks open, we are already busy, already receiving input from the public and taking action. Just last week, we sent a letter to Hillsborough County notifying them that there's harmful sexualized content in the school system there, pornographic in nature. We were delighted that it only took a day for them to get that harmful content out of the schools, and a couple counties have quickly followed suit. We also, engaged in a legal battle in Jacksonville to protect parental rights, where a plaintiff in court was trying to argue for minor children to undergo abortions without parental consent. Thankfully, we appealed and prevailed at the appeals court, and we will continue to fight for parental rights. When it comes to medical treatment, when it comes to counseling and therapies and things of this sort, parents must be involved. Over in Leon County, Tallahassee, there's the case with January Littlejohn, where a student was being subjected to transition therapies and counseling advocating to trans our kids without parental knowledge. In Florida school systems, that's not going to happen. We are the state of parental rights. We have a wonderful Parents' Bill of Rights, and now we are going to give a legal outlet to parents who could sue on their own, but understandably, bringing litigation, going into the court system, that's an intimidating and challenging thing. So RAG's office is going to be there to fight these fights where injustices have occurred. So I'm excited here today. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Díaz here. So RAG's office is going to be there to fight these fights where injustices have occurred. So I'm excited here today. I'll Díaz here and just hear about it from parents and school boards and teachers so that we can properly prosecute the case. So we're excited to provide that resource. We will be paying attention. If you want to subject our kids to dangerous, harmful content and pornography at a young age, we will take action. That will not be acceptable here in the state of Florida. So as a dad with 3 little ones, this is not just professional to me, it's personal. I believe we have a duty as state leaders to leave our state better than we found it. Our kids are the future. We have to protect them at all costs. And in today's world, there's always new harms, new technologies, new devices, new things that are dangerous, and we got to be aware of that. So with that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Díaz. And then we'll sign the agreement after that. Thank you.
And thank you, Attorney General Uthmeier. This first talking about the parental rights portal, the Office of Parental Rights. It is a welcome addition to our program of being able to protect these parental rights. As the Department of Education, we have a lot of functions that we have to go through, a lot of academic functions, a lot of things that they go through our agency. But having the assistance and cooperation and now partnership of the Attorney General's office and be able to root out these harmful materials that should never, look, from the beginning, we told superintendents, we told districts, use common sense. I mean, an educator should know, should be clear-eyed as to what materials definitely don't belong in a school. And I think in this example of Hillsborough, that should have happened. I sent a letter and that was followed immediately by the Attorney General to the district, and they immediately decided to take action. But why does it take this? Why do we have to go through this process to get people in education to understand that there are materials that everybody should agree do not belong in front of kids? And we're not talking about a discussion over whether it's a Shakespeare book or this. We're talking about clear pornographic material, and so it is great for us to have the support and the partnership with the Attorney General's office, because as the Attorney General mentioned, there are other districts who have seen what happened in Hillsborough and have followed suit, and we expect continued cooperation and collaboration from our school districts. At the end of the day, protecting our kids, right? Protecting our kids and making sure they're getting a good education without being exposed to these harmful materials that should never be in a school. And again, that conversation shouldn't be about whether a book is banned outside of school. That's all nonsense. If an adult wants to have access to this kind of material, you're free to buy it in the state of Florida if that's what you decide. But within our schools, there's a certain expectation that we're going to protect our minor students from exposure to that. And that leads us into the same thing. I think going back to my days as being a school administrator and walking the halls, back in those days where you were looking out for these kind of devices that were home created, right? I could tell you that I confiscated more than one of these. They were actual highlighters that they had hollowed out, right? And they created a pipe, and it was for smoking marijuana, right? This is before the advance of the vapes. But what we're seeing with these devices is a new frontier where our school administrators, our teachers, and everybody have to face that this is coming into the school. And it's not only the distraction to the academic program, right, and the distraction of what's going on in schools, but the harm, and again, going harmful materials to our students. And a lot of those students don't even know their harm that they may be doing to themselves at the time, as the statistics bear out what that is. But having this initiative, I'm very thankful, because we are hearing from our principals, we are hearing from our teachers about discipline issues that come with these type of devices in schools. And again, to root that out and to be able to have law enforcement be able to root that out of the adjacent facilities, because this creates a cottage industry around schools with things that are attractive to students and to minors, right? And this is where it's the way it's designed. And so being able to have that protective layer outside of the schoolhouse and making sure that this is not getting in the hands of our students is incredibly important. You know, some of the detrimental effects that we're aware of the National Institutes of Drug Abuse, 30% of teens begin smoking tobacco within 6 months of vaping. And so while some of these products have been created to help people get off of some of these addictions, it could have the inverse effect, right, on a teen. And we know that as their minds are developing, there's definitely health effects and long-term effects that happen. Every 2 years, the Department of Education conducts youth-specific survey to ensure that our required instruction for health education aligns to student needs. This survey found that 19% of students said that they had used vaping products. 17% had said they had consumed marijuana, and 7% had said they had smoked cigarettes. Those numbers are far too high, right? We have to be vigilant of our students, and we have to prevent our schools from becoming places where you have access to these products. And because students could try to hide it at home, right? But it's more likely that they're going to try to get away from their parents and do it in school in a manner of which they feel like they're not going to get caught. And that begins that road down the usage of this that ends in tobacco products and ends in marijuana. And it's not only the vaping substance that's used, it's also there is a black market where some of these vaping substances are now, it's actually converted marijuana, it's cannabis, that are now being put in at strengths that are unknown. And now these students are using these things daily. And again, there are harmful effects to that we have to protect our kids. So again, I'm really thankful to our Attorney General and the Attorney General's office for the partnerships, not only in parental rights, but in really attacking this issue that could have a tremendous detrimental effect on our students, on our youth. This is the right way for Florida to go to continue to protect our kids, and again, to continue to protect our parental rights. And I'm excited about signing a memorandum of agreement here to continue really what is a symbiotic relationship, because what we do really dovetails into the Office of the Attorney General when it comes to harmful materials, when it comes to parents' rights, and making sure that there is an enforcement piece. We have our role as making sure districts are following policies, making sure that those that have teachers' licenses in the state and certificates are following those policies. But we also have things that when there's a clear break of state statute, having the Attorney General's office there and the sharing of information, the sharing of the process is going to be beneficial at the end of the day for all of our students and all of our parents in the state. So thank you, General, for having us here, and we look forward to this agreement and continued partnership going forward.
So I'll close by saying thank you to our law enforcement investigators. Thanks for looking out for things like this, for getting these things on our prohibited list of illicit products, for getting them off the streets. Thank you to our legislature over the last few years for promulgating great laws that protect our kids. Now we've got to enforce them. So companies out there, if you want to do these video game things, get ready. We're coming for you. You're not going to get away with it. We will enforce the law. We are a rule of law state. To the members of the public, please, if you're aware of issues out there that are violating parents' rights, that are putting kids in danger, please go to our Office of Parents' Rights portal. We will act on it quickly, I assure you. We got a complaint last week about a gym in Palm Beach that was allowing men to go into women's locker rooms, and we took action right away. We put them on notice that We will bring legal action if you continue this practice, and thankfully they very quickly modified the policy, and we've been in person to confirm that. We're looking at other gyms around the state. We want to make sure we're protecting women and girls. Public safety is our #1 mission. We've seen some of these horrific things across the country where men go into women's restrooms and commit some heinous crimes. That's not going to happen in Florida. So please let us know. And thank you to the Department of Education for working with us. We're going to make sure there are not surveys being given to kids, there's not counseling, not treatment, not harmful ideologies being pushed without parental knowledge. Not in the state of Florida. We will not let that fly. So thank you. Commissioner, you want to sign this thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we got time for a question or two if there's any before we got to get back to the law enforcement symposium.
Attorney General, I have a question for you and for Commissioner Díaz. Do you have any response to the news about the Hope, Florida transfers being under investigation by the state attorney's office? And for Commissioner Díaz, there's speculation out there that you may be appointed interim president of the University of West Florida. Do you want to comment on that?
Well, I'll start. I'll mention the Hope Florida thing. It's clear there's some political attacks going on. I was involved on a board of a C4 issue committee that was opposing Amendment 3 that was being proposed for the ballot last cycle. If people don't remember, this was the recreational marijuana amendment. As written, it would have allowed virtually unrestricted marijuana in public places. Theme parks, restaurants, entertainment venues, you name it, anywhere, and the amendment would have allowed up to 150 joints to be on somebody's person. It is completely proper, and the courts have said that public officials certainly have a right, maybe even a duty, to take action in those fights to protect our state, to protect our laws from harmful amendments like that. I think we've built something very special in the state of Florida over the last 6 years. That fight was important to me, important to the state. I think if that amendment had passed, we would have gone the direction of Colorado and California and other states, many jurisdictions where you see 2- or 3-fold the number of ER visits for young kids. Kids being exposed to candies, gummies, not to mention the smell and the harm to tourism. You go to Times Square in New York and you walk around and it's disgusting. It is no longer a place people want to visit. Bars and restaurateurs are moving out. So I know the big marijuana industry, they put in over $150 million. They're not very happy about this. I know there's some, Democrat officials and a legislator in this area that are in bed with that group, and so they want to bring this fight. But at the end of the day, we did the right thing. Everything we did was lawful. We won. I'm proud we won. And I'm glad that we have kept Florida safe, free, and open for business in a healthy manner. And at the end of the day, we protected our kids. And to me, as state leaders, that is our ultimate duty. We have to protect our most vulnerable in this state. With the AG's office, that's the seniors oftentimes. You see these scams. If you get the text about the toll fines, it's probably fake. Don't click it. These are like whack-a-mole. We're going after these people that want to lie, cheat, and steal. We'll protect our seniors, and we will protect our kids. And I think today's announcement is a good effort to show how much we act. It's not just talk. We put it into action.
Can you help us understand the path of that Centene settlement, $57 million, and then the $10 million, and the $5 million? Can you just help us understand from your standpoint what's going on here and why there's confusion about two $5 million settlements going into Hope, Florida, and why Hope, Florida has anything to do with the Centene settlement, if you could?
So my involvement was with an outside C4 committee. Those committees can work with other C3s and C4 committees, nonprofits. I think the press and others like to twist the difference between a candidate committee and an issue committee. This wasn't for some political candidate. It was for a policy. a policy that the state leaders said is wrong. So I don't control the decisions of other nonprofits. I was on the board of the nonprofit that was focused on exclusively defeating Amendment 3, unrestricted marijuana. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Mr. Díaz, would you mind answering Jim's question? There's a lot of speculation in the community about the UWF decision.
Well, what I'll tell you is that the board is clearly meeting. That's a decision for the board to make, and if they were to call, I'd obviously be willing to have a conversation with them about that, but that's up to the Board of Trustees of the University of West Florida.